What's up, my know-it-alls? It's time for another review. Specifically, we're talking Wheel of Time Season 2, Episode 5. The title is Damane. Now, those of you who are familiar with the Wheel of Time, that word means something. So, hold on, don't go anywhere, because right now, we're talking Wheel of Time. Okay, so that happened.
I don't know where we're gonna start.
No kidding. That's why I said this is one of those
really
times-
don't know where we're gonna start.
It's one of the reasons why I've stopped kind of trying to do a real tight, detailed recap is because it's otherwise we're gonna end up being here an hour or more just for the for the recap and review. So let's I'll dive right in. The story continues along the same path as the last couple of episodes have, which is really focusing hard on each character's individual journey. The one thing I will say I've noticed is more and more there are more things happening that are from other books. So and that's okay. I kind of turned the corner last week where I'm very much of the mindset that, you know what, who cares?
Right.
I'm enjoying this adaptation of the books. I like where they're going. I see where they're going, and and nothing is being lost in the translation so far.
Okay.
I know you mentioned something. I got to look it up, and I got to see if it's real or not. I feel like you might be right. I feel like someone had to have gotten a hold of them and said something to them because this feels so different from season 1.
You know how I flip through when I'm flipping through YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I saw something that said that the gentleman, I can't remember his name, that took after
Brandon Sanderson.
Him helped, kind of had more input this time.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I could have read it wrong, but after saying that to you, you said, well, maybe that is what happened. So please find out.
I could see that. No, I will.
Yeah.
And before we do the next review, I'll go ahead and find out just kind of what involvement he may or may not have had in this season. Regardless of whatever the situation is, this season feels much more like they definitely know where they're headed. Where the first season felt a little bit scattered, a little lost, this season feels very much on point. We touch base with every single person along the trail of this thing. We get several big reveals. And again, I'm kind of jumping around. If you haven't seen the episode, please go watch it because we're going to spoil the daylights out of it. In a nutshell, we get Seanchan, specifically Seldama and Damane. We get the reveal that the Black Aja is real. We get it name dropped. Viren
And
go ahead.
not only are they real, but we also believe.
You got confirmation. Leandrin's dirty.
That's right. She is.
So Leandrin's a dark friend. She's a Black Aja sister, which is why she can lie. And we do find out that her reasoning is that she did it in the hopes of helping and to save her son's life. I don't know what the situation is, but she kind of deeply regrets that decision.
Yeah, you can tell.
The episode picks up pretty much almost where we left off, and I'm going to jump into the Moiraine and Rand storyline.
Yeah, let's start there.
So Moiraine and Rand immediately, because that's where we left off. She literally last we saw, she slit the what's her face's neck, shoved a knife into her face or whatever, and left her for dead. Only because there's
It was not that gruesome.
It was rough.
Stabbed her through the heart and slit her throat.
No, man, I think there was face stabbing. Anyways, so so Moiraine, they immediately rush and they get to this little kind of a barn house that's in the middle of nowhere, and the lady who runs the place, the stable woman, and Moraine's like, you got to help us, and so she basically makes it look like they're the ones who are going to go heading out and running, and they killed the 4th horse. So, and she has the lady take and go, and I kind of was suspicious. It's a feint, meaning Lanfear gets on a horse, and because there's a guy who's there, I don't know if it's the Sable Woman's husband or whoever he is, and by the way, Lanfear is no joke.
She blew a guy's head up.
Bro.
All she did was go.
And it was glorious. But it's just rough.
It's not glorious.
No, but it's like you can tell she's what I'm saying is they're establishing quickly who she is.
Who she is, yeah.
Yeah. Also get
That's okay.
We get the name drop
Take
of
it away.
Tel'aran'rhiod. I've always said Tel'aran'rhiod, but it's Tel'aran'rhiod, and that's fine. And I trust their pronunciations in the show. And so, but because she's a dream walker. She likes to, not like Perrin and the wolves are dream walkers. She knows how to travel through the world of dreams. And so we get that reveal. And because Moiraine and Rand refuse to sleep this entire episode because they're like, nah, man, it's dangerous.
She'll come get us.
For real. So they head to the one place that she knows she might be able to get some kind of help, and that's from Kyrian. And so and then we go to Perrin. Perrin has left the Wolf Brothers briefly because he's determined to find out what happened to Loial and the Shienarans who were with them, the ones who were taken.
Yes.
And so Hopper goes with him. And Hopper's like, look, man, you got to go to this place, this and that, blah, blah. Talks to him. They talk in a wolf form, because they got it like that.
That's what they do.
And Perrin asks more of Elias, like, who am I? What is it? Blah, blah, blah. And Elias is like, listen, these people they're not your pack. Okay, even your wife wasn't your pack, and that kind of hits a chord with him. So Perrin is like, and Elias is like, look, you're never gonna be alone. Like, we'll know how to, we'll find you. Like, we'll come to you at some point. So he leaves. Perrin leaves on his own, heads back to Altuan Springs or Altuan Mills.
Yes.
And there he runs into Dane Bornhold. I say it like that because those of you who read the books, I'm like, oh my god, it's Dane Bornhold. My point is, this was such a name drop episode for me. I was fangirling all over the place.
All right, if I'm being honest, because I am, this episode probably got longer for us to watch because every time a name would drop, he got so excited. It was really cool though. I'm sorry. I know I just told you.
I'm like, pause. Do you know who that is? I'm like, of course she doesn't. We've literally started reading book 2, okay? And because I figured more or less she has the highlights of book 1, which to me is the longest, most interminable book in the series. All the rest are actually very, very good. Book 1 sets up a lot of things. It's fine. So we jumped into book 2. Yeah. Anyway, we then get, so then we find out what's going on with Egwene and Nynaeve. They have been, and Elayne, they have been taken. And what's her face? Leandrin has them in the ways, in the ways, and she's got them. Yeah. And that's where she reveals the fact that she's Black Aja. That's where she reveals she's a Dark Friend. And
why she did it.
She's been ordered by Ishamael to take her through the Waygates over to on the Falm Gate. And meanwhile, now they've introduced new characters. We're following Ishamael and Suroth, the Lady Suroth. Suroth has been called in front of Turok. Turok is like, he's actually of the High Blood, which is a big high-ranking thing in the Seanchan. And so I love the fact they have speakers. I forgot about that. So those of you who don't know, playing at home, everything about the Seanchan when you're of a certain level, you have a speaker who speaks, who's your voice. Everything, they do a type of sign language. Eye gestures, head moves, hand twists, anything, little subtle things. And the speakers understand it, translate it, and speak. And speak with confidence. So the voice of Turok, so she's summoned, and Turok's basically like, he gets so pissed at her because he's like, look, you had no business taking that marine town. You defied us. We need to be the ones to do this thing. Whatever.
Told her to speak for herself.
That's right. And he's like, and
told her to speak for herself.
And she basically was dressed down, and as a result, he's like, look, until you are not allowed in my presence until until you do right again. And then he has her kneel, and she puts her hands out. She's got the big long nails. Dude brother comes out, pulls a sword, is like, ha-ja! And the nail's gone.
Which, that's kind of a cool...
Yeah. I don't care if you're familiar with the material or not. Just the way they play that scene, you're like, oh, something important
this is bad, that's what happened.
Exactly.
Like being excommunicated with,
but
not fully yet. Like,
right.
When your nails grow back, you can come say hi, basically, but it's until you do right.
Right. The other thing is, so then we flash back to Perrin, who is, while he's there, he sees his old friend from Una, who's the guy who was killed when the Seanchan took over. He finds him in a metal cage hanging. Turned out the Children of the Light have taken back the town, obviously, if Dane Bornhold's there. Mm-hmm. But more important than that, we get introduced to a new character. The Aiel woman, the daughter of the Spears, Fardaris Mai. We're talking about Aviendha. Bad girl.
I like her.
she's so dope. And she literally, so Perrin, this is whole back and forth. Perrin sees Jackass from season 1, the guy who they broke his arm, and the child. And so he's hiding out in his room waiting for for them to leave till late. So he leaves. When he leaves, the White Cloaks come in because he releases Aviendha. And Aviendha's like, my water is yours. That, by the way, I love the way the Aiel talk. And then after they whoop up on some White Cloaks, she later on says to him, I have toe. And another pause moment. I had to be like, let me tell you what that means. Okay, the concept of G.A. toe is such a fun concept. And if you read the books, it's so great to see the deep dive that happens there in terms of like how they have to translate it. I was trying to explain it to Mrs. Nodal. In the books,
but not explaining it, not being able to explain it, explains what it is.
Yes, totally, because in the books, I'm liking the way they did it, because toe is it's deeper than honor. It's a life debt, yes, but so in the books, there's a group of Fardarsmai who have toe with Rand. And at any given point, Rand's trying to get them to be like, oh, look, see, you saved my life. I don't know what to do without you. And literally they're like, the Karakhan does not tell us when we have executed our toe. He's like, dang it. So
how far away is that, by the way? What you just said. Just out of curiosity.
Judging by how the speed at which things are happening, I believe we probably get that type of an encounter next season.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think for instance, I don't believe we're gonna get Dumai's Wells at all this season. Dumai's Wells is when Dumai's Wells is when all the bad when Rand really shows his nuts. Okay, Rand in Dumai's Wells changes the game completely. At some short version, at some point or another, the Reds in the books capture him and they're trying to take him back to Tar-Valon. And what they've done is not there. It takes like a bunch of them to keep him tied off, because he can still be tied off from the one power, just like any other man. Just because he's more powerful than that doesn't mean anything. And they keep him in a chest, and he's been tortured at this point, by the way. And he busts out in such a big bad way. It's not even. I mean, anyway. Then again, we could get that. We could. Why? Because the Horn is here. And there's a big fight coming. There has to be. Because the Horn is going to get blown. And Matt is the guy who's going to do it. Okay,
Matt blows it?
Yeah. Oh, trust me. I fully expect next week's episode, we're going to focus on Matt and a lot of the ancillaries that we didn't get a whole lot of this today. The main people are not going to be part of it. Like a lot of the main ones we saw, someone's going to drop out and we're going to get more of Matt. Because Matt has to eventually meet up with them. The other thing that I was reminded of is the Dance of Spears, which is dope. And she literally goes, you dance well. Like, you dance spears well, she says to Perrin. Mm-hmm. Man, the Aiel are so awesome. And why is she there? She's looking for the Karakhan. She's looking for Rand. Bro, I am so excited for what's coming.
I do like the anticipation, especially someone that's not, they hadn't read the book. This is great. I'm liking the anticipation of it.
It's so good. It's so good. Chef's kiss. There's a really cool encounter toward the end where Ishamael's called before Turok. And Turok is basically like, hey, I know you, I see blah, 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 this and that. And because you got to remember, the Seanchan are very, very superstitious. So apparently, Ishamael's physical form had appeared over across the sea in the Seanchan's empire. And he was the one who, I guess, had started revealing some of the portents and the other things of that nature that led them to believe, it's time to go back to the mainland and reclaim our people. Mm-hmm. So remember, the Seanchan's mission is literally to claim everybody to prepare them for the last battle, which is what all this is about. And so he goes, one thing, you can ask me anything. And he's like, okay, all I ask is that you let Lady Suroth, she's going to give you a gift. You let her, and they bring her Egwene. This is what I mean, by the way, by we're getting things from future books. This event, I believe, doesn't happen until later, until like book 3 or 4. But it's okay. Because again, you're trying to consolidate a whole lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. We don't have time for Rand sitting around a Kyrian palace after he's taken after Tyr falls, which, by the way, might still happen as much as I'm talking trash. But because Tyr has to fall before that can happen. Anyway. The idea that there's this really interesting conversation between Ishamael and Lanfear in Tel'aran'rhiod where she's like, why would you release me? And then there's a series of name drops.
Again, pause.
And I was literally like, oh my God, he said Moghedien. Oh my God, he said Grendel. I have like all these cool characters. And by the way, so that leads me to believe if we're going to get introduced to them, I hope to God it's in some way, shape, or form like them. We haven't even gone near Caemlyn yet, which tells me we're probably not going to get Moghedien until much later. Anyways, so again, I'm excited because remember, each of these people, whether Ishamael's got to be defeated.
Yes.
Okay, Ishamael has to be defeated, and eventually you get to Lanfear, who more or less kind of takes charge, tries to take charge. Anyways, I'm getting way ahead of myself. It's so exciting seeing they're doing a very, very good job. So, what are some things? What are some things you did or you did like? What are some things you did like?
I like the way we touched base with everybody.
Yeah.
So as far as the episode is concerned, we got to fill in we got to know more about Maureen and her sister and the nephew. And
the nephew was so cool.
The one part that I thought was really cool was when her sister, Maureen's sister, said, I had a very wise sister once who told me blah, blah, blah. Yeah,
because Maureen's having a hard time. She's belly aching about how she's going to protect Rand, and she's really stressed out about it. Go ahead.
Right, and there were two questions, can you offer this or can you offer that? And the second question, I think it was, can you actually offer him protection or something along those lines? And
right. Can you
this
even
actress is great, by the way, because
do the thing that you're worried
it's
about?
when she realizes that I don't know if I can by myself.
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. It's like you can see that answer on her face. The big question mark just pops up.
Well, and not just that, but she immediately it gives her, I think, a measure of relief. I don't have to bellyache anymore about it. I don't have to stress about it. I can't protect him. So what can I do? And that's a very Kyrian response. Remember, the Kyrianen are the people who are literally, they play the game of houses better than anybody. The minute you walk into that town, you are part of the game of houses in some level. So for her to be, it's so you can see the wheels and machinations working that say, oh, I gotta do this or I gotta do that. Anyways, it's great. I love that. What else? Anything else?
I like the way I feel like Perrin's kind of coming around very slowly. Like he doesn't seem to be fighting it so much because Hopper does go with him after he leaves the guy and the rest of the pack. Yeah. Hopper sat down, but then Hopper found him.
I think they might have even in the books made a joke for a brief period. They were a pack of two, and then he brings another. Then he gets someone. Anyway, because eventually Perrin's got to meet someone special or know that someone special is not Aviendha. At least it hasn't been. I don't know what they're gonna do in the show. I hope it's not that. But anyway. Okay, so what are some things you maybe didn't like, or was this?
This was a good episode for me.
I'm hard pressed to find.
It went fast, and it was a long one. Even though it was a long episode and he kept pausing to talk to me, I still felt like it went fast.
Oh! Go ahead.
What's her name? Brown Aes Sedai.
Viren Sedai.
Her.
Yeah.
Her. We didn't talk about how she's back.
So Viren Sedai, it's not so much she's back. Viren Sedai is investigating.
This part.
She's gone to the tower. Viren Sedai's gone to the tower. She's investigating, and during her investigation, she single-handedly begins to uncover some things. She uncovers Sheriam Sedai is either dirty or under the control of what's called compulsion, which is a very specific series of threads. It's also a series of threads that's been lost unless you're the Forsaken. So, and then she manages to, so she's uncovering people lying all over the place, which shouldn't be possible. And then she runs into Liandrin. And Liandrin is trying to play it off so hardcore, because Liandrin just got finished depositing the girls over with the Seanchan, and it's, by the way, I did forget that part. Nynaeve and Elayne have been captured, really not really, by a yellow Aes Sedai who's like, you guys got to change. What's going on? And we're based on the trailer for next week.
Sounds like they're going to be hanging out there for a minute.
Yeah, I'm excited. This, I believe, this is where we're building toward that big fight. Because that big fight is what pushes the Seanchan. It doesn't push them out, but it pushes them back. And it makes them have to regroup. Because it's not the last battle, but it's going to be so hopeless. Matt has no choice but to blow the horn. And when he does, Archer Hawkwing, the heroes of old. I'm talking like big, like heroes. The glowing horses and the whole 9 yards show up and just push them back. It's amazing. And it's great. It's going to be so good. And I'm really thrilled.
I don't think there was anything that I didn't like, in all honesty. I really liked this episode. I really did.
Yeah, so if you're waiting to hear something bad, I got to tell you, this is not it. I don't know, man. I'm hard pressed to give it a bad score, and I'm really trying to be more critical these days, especially with everybody voting that they want me to start doing more film and TV criticism. The most thing I could criticize is it's not exactly like the books, but the truth is they're doing everything's great. And I didn't. This is the first episode I did not find myself once thinking, oh man, what's going on? Why is it so far away from how the books are done? I was genuinely enjoying everything about this.
Well, we talked about that too, is that just, when you're reading a book, it's very linear. Yeah. And when you can show it, you can condense it.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree. So, all right, well, there you go. Now you know. And if knowing's not the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. So, what's the know-it-all index for us for this episode? Where's your head going with it, you think?
9.
Right on, man. Okay.
I told you, it kept going, even with all the other nonsense that you and I just talked about. It still went very fast to me, and I feel like I feel like I know more. I don't feel lost. I feel like, yeah, okay, I got it. I got Cliff Notes over here, but I don't. Even if I didn't have, I think I'd be okay. I think I'd be okay. I still enjoyed it.
So 9.
9. All
right. Well, for the first time ever, we're going to disagree, but not by much. I'm giving it a 9.5. I'm going 9.5 out of 10. I really liked this episode more. I almost wanted to give it a 10, but I have a feeling there's a slightly better episode coming.
I will admit that's another. I don't think this was my 10.
No, but I'm definitely at a 9.5.
Very close.
I'm enjoying the heck out of this show. They're doing really good work. Comment below. Let me know what you're thinking of the show and if you're enjoying it. I also, if you know whether or not Brandon Sanderson helped out with this season, let me know. I'm going to research it myself, and we'll talk more about it next week.
But, I wish I would have clicked it.
No, you're good. You're good. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us for this week. I can't wait to see you next week. Never forget.
Everyone loves a know-it-all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.